morning. In the little house at the end of the street smelled like cinnamon and butter. Dad wrestled with a box of string lights. Mom spread a red runner across the table, and the tree by the window stood there like a friend, showing off a brand new coat. Tom's 7 years old hair, as rumpled as a small cloud, ran circles with eyes as bright as the ornaments. "Can I help?" he asked, bubbling over. "You can hand me these hooks." Mom smiled, passing him a small bag. Dad added, "If you want, try hanging a few light ornaments on the lower branches." Tom inhaled. This was his chance to be one of the grown-ups. But on his second ornament, the hook slipped. Clink! The shiny ball rolled, then shattered into glittering crumbs. Tom froze, hands shaking. "It's okay," Mom said, quickly sweeping up the pieces. Tom nodded, swallowed, and kept going. He wanted to try the lights now, but when he plugged them in, the strand was a nest of knots. Dad hadn't yet started untangling when Tom gave it a tug. The whole string slipped, snagged a chair, and knocked some dried pine cones to the floor. Tom bit his lip. The eager spark inside him dimmed a little, the way a candle trembles in a draft. By afternoon, while Mom baked snowman cookies and Dad lifted the star to the treetop, Tom tried folding the cloth napkins into tiny Christmas trees for the plates. He folded one side, and the other side popped open. By the third napkin, all three had sprung back like little tents in a windstorm. Baby Lan giggled, but Tom looked down. He wanted to be useful. He wanted to do something right. By evening, the house glowed warm again. Music floated from the speaker. Tom sat on the rug, hugging a pillow. Down low on the tree, where his decorations were supposed to go, the branches still showed bare green. "Tomorrow, I'll do better," he told himself, but the words were as small as a leaf sighing. When everyone went upstairs, the house went quiet. The kitchen light clicked off. A soft hallway glow lingered. Tom lay in bed, heart thumping, replaying the day, the broken ornament, the tangled lights, the popped open napkins. He pulled the covers to his chin, eyes wide. Then he remembered what his teacher had said. Christmas gifts don't have to be big. The smallest ones can reach the biggest places in a heart. An idea shot across his mind like a tiny shooting star. Tom slipped out of bed and padded to the kitchen. The floor creaked once. He opened the drawer where Mom kept craft supplies, colored paper, crayons, glue, kid-safe scissors. He spread everything on the table, pulled out a chair, and sat up straight. Outside, winter wind skimmed the windows. Inside, a little midnight workshop opened for business. The first card was for Mom. Tom chose cream paper, folded it, and glued on a thin ribbon. Mom always used to tie cookie boxes. He drew 2 hands, one big one, small, woven together. Underneath, he printed carefully crooked Mom. I can't hang ornaments like you yet, but I want to hold your hand and learn. Thank you for the cinnamon dinner. I love you. He stared at his wobbly letters and felt warm. The second card was for Dad. He took dark blue paper and drew a string of lights. Each bulb, a little memory. One bulb said, "Bike ride another, catch another big laugh." He wrote, "Dad, I might tangle the lights, but you always help me untangle things. Thank you for being patient. This year, I want to learn how to untangle like you." He stuck a gold star at the top corner, just like the one Dad had placed on the tree. Card 3 was for baby Lon. Tom drew a half-eaten cookie and a little girl grinning wide. "Dear Lon, thank you for laughing when I was clumsy. Your smile is like sugar on cookies, makes everything sweet again." He glued 2 tiny beads for the cookie's eyes and snorted a quiet laugh at his own idea. He kept going a card for the elderly neighbor who watered her porch flowers every morning. One for the mail carrier who wore a red knit hat. One for his homeroom teacher. Even one for the chubby striped cat at the corner. On that one, he drew a bowl of milk and a small blanket. Each card sounded like Tom. Honest, a little clumsy, very warm. He drew glued wrote and waved his small hand to dry the ink. The overhead light painted a soft circle on the wood table, while little flames of kindness seemed to run from Tom's heart straight into the crayon tips. Near midnight, Tom stacked the cards and set them on the cookie plate. He hesitated, then tiptoed into the living room. He hung Mom's card on a low branch, right where he'd dropped the ornament that morning. He clipped Dad's card to the light strand between 2 bulbs. He tucked Lon's card beside her stuffed bear on the armchair. The others he slid into plain envelopes, wrote names, and lined them up by the door. When he finished the empty spots he'd noticed earlier, felt filled, not with things you could see, but with something you could feel. He yawned, turned off the kitchen light, crept back upstairs, and fell into a happy sleep. The next morning, the smell of hot cocoa woke everyone. Mom reached the kitchen first and stopped. Oh, what's this? She touched the stack of cards. Her eyes softened. Dad saw a card swaying on a branch. He read it, cleared his throat, and looked away like dust had jumped in his eye. Lon squealed my card. "There's a cookie on it." They gathered at the table. Mom opened hers, smoothing the ribbon. When she read, "I want to hold your hand and learn," she placed her hand on Tom's small one. "I'm more than ready," she said. Dad opened his and smiled, a sunrise kind of smile. Buddy untangling lights is advanced stuff. But last night, you untangled something more important. Tom looked up, heart pounding this time, in the best way. I just wanted our house to be beautiful, he whispered. Mom ruffled his hair. It is. These are the most beautiful decorations we have. She lifted the card into the light. The line wobbles weren't straight, but they were strong. Lan hugged her card like treasure. I'm taping it by my bed so I can see it every night. After breakfast, Dad asked, "Want to deliver the others with me?" Tom nodded fast. They bundled up and headed out with the envelopes. At the neighbor's door, she opened with surprise that softened into a watery smile when she read the card with a flower pot drawing. "Thank you, young man," she said. "This will be the brightest flower in my house all winter." They tucked the mail carrier's card in the box with a bag of cookies from Mom for Tom's teacher. Dad pulled over by the school gate. Tom asked the guard to pass it along. For the card to the cat, Tom placed it beside a small folded blanket at the familiar corner with a cup of warm milk. The cat sniffed, blinked, and let out a tiny which sounded exactly like "thank you." That afternoon, the house felt warm again, but different, like an old song played with new heart. Mom gathered the family cards and said, "Let's turn these into decorations." She punched a hole in each tied string and hung them on the tree's lower branches, right at Tom's eye level. The bare places from yesterday became a little circle of love notes, shining in a way no light bulb could. Dad plucked the light string gently and looked at Tom. "This year, your head of heart decorations." Tom grinned and nodded hard. He picked up a leftover scrap and wrote one more tiny card. Heart decorations equal say thank you plus do a kind thing plus 10-second hug. He handed it to Mom, who read it and pulled him in for way more than 10 seconds. That evening, the family sat by the tree lights, quietly blinking. Mom read each card out loud. Dad told a matching memory. Lan added giggles. When they got to Dad's card, Tom cleared his throat. "Dad, can we start learning to untangle lights tomorrow?" Dad squeezed Tom's shoulder. Tomorrow and all next year. Outside, the wind kept moving. Inside, the cards swayed gentle as breathing. The tree wasn't just pretty because of shiny glass or perfect ribbons. It was beautiful because it held the words of a little boy who found his own way to help, not with strong hands, yet, but with a warm heart. From that night on, the house at the end of the street had a new tradition. On Christmas Eve, everyone wrote one card to someone else in the family, what they treasured, what they were grateful for, what they promised to try to do better. Tom, the head of heart decorations, reminded everyone to check their spelling with a mischievous smile. And when the cards went up, the room always seemed to glow a little brighter. Not because there were more bulbs, but because everyone looked at each other with more thankful eyes. Christmas got a new gentle nickname in that home, the day we hang good things on the tree.